Welcome back to Creating Your Desired Reality Master Program. This is lesson 3, Brain Circuitry Reconstruction, Rewiring for Abundance. Before we get into the lesson, I thought it would be important for me to just refresh and to remind us that when we speak of abundance, it isn't only directed or in correlation with the abundance of money, the abundance of wealth, the abundance of happiness, the abundance of joy, an abundance of peace. This also works dually. There's always a polarity. We can also have an abundance of fear, an abundance of anxiety, an abundance of depression, an abundance of poverty, an abundance of failing and losing. So abundance don't only work on one side, it works on both sides. So I want you all to keep in mind that you are already receiving things in abundance. It's just most of us are experiencing an abundance of people, place, and things that we no longer want to receive an abundance in. We want to reposition and realign ourselves to draw into us to manifest an abundance of things, people, places, opportunities that we now want. So, in lesson 3, brain circuitry reconstruction, rewiring for abundance of all things that we want, need, and or desire. Our objective is to understand and reconstruct our brain circuits to support positive thinking and manifestation. And our focus is neuroplasticity and how the brain's neural networks adapt to new thoughts and new behaviors to form new behaviors, not the continuation of old behaviors, breaking the old thought patterns of lack, scarcity, and rewiring our neural circuitry with gratitude to attract what and who we desire. Now, this is where I'm going to elaborate, as I told you in a previous lesson, elaborate on what the part of neuroscience dealing with neural circuits and neural pathways. And so, us understanding brain recircuitry construction, it doesn't mean that you have to be a philosopher or a master teacher in brain circuitry. We just need to understand the fundamentals. And the fundamentals are that brain circuitry reconstruction is the process of rewiring our neural pathways in our brain to support positive, empowering beliefs and knowings, as well as our behaviors. You see, because our brains are designed to be plastic, meaning they're very capable of changing, conforming, and adapting based upon thoughts we consistently focus on. This is known as neuroplasticity. So, negative thoughts lead to further negative thoughts. Positive thoughts leads to other positive thoughts. Every Keep in mind that we have trillions and trillions of neural networks and neural pathways. And our goal in this master lesson, lesson 3, is to begin to starve those old negative thought circuitries, from that to moving and creating new neural circuitries and pathways with positive thinking, positive thoughts, positive feelings, and an assurance that you're actually getting yourself into alignment. You are reconstructing not only your brain circuitry, you're starving all of the old dominant databases that no longer serve your now goal. So, how does it work? How does neural networks and how are they connected? How are they connected? Look, and I want you to look and study this graph right here. Okay. Now, this is how it works. What we think and what we feel dictates how we behave, not only via external stimuli with what we see, what we hear, what we taste, what we touch, what we smell, which are all triggers from our what? Neural systems. We heard of this before, my loves, right? So how we respond, how we think, how we walk, how we talk, how we sing, listen, write, hate, love, eat, even how we recall memories of past traumas, past beautiful relationships, how we work, every trauma, how we drive vehicles, how we ride bikes, how we experience and feel pain, how we deal with it, how we bathe, how we groom, how our hygiene routines, how we grieve, how we experience joy, how we experience and engage with people, how we suffer, how we read. All of these things are neural networks, neural pathways. All of these things are dominant programs that we currently have that has shaped our what? Now identity, personality, self-worth, self-actualization. And because of all of these things, this is why we are at where we at today. Now, no judgment, no unrighteous judgment, no digs, no tea, no shade, my loves. This information is to bring you into the awareness of how it works, because if you never figure out how it works, you can never utilize it to your benefit. And so this is how it works. Everything that you do and how you do it is a mental program stored in your conscious, stored in your mental database. Everything you feel comes from what all of these neural networks and these programs, our past traumatic experiences mainly, that has built up and grew up in our heart. So no wonder why we're not in alignment with what we want, need, and or desire. No wonder why we are not in alignment with the things that we want, need, and desire, because the frequency that we have in our hearts now isn't in alignment with the frequency of wealth abundance. It's not in alignment with the frequency of joy, with the frequency of bliss. Our heart is in an incoherent state, meaning there's no alignment, there's no harmony between our neural networks, our thoughts, and what we feel in our heart. They have to be in alignment. This is a prerequisite. This is not if you want to use it and apply it. This is you have to use it and apply it. This is why many aren't seeing their manifestations come to fruition, because you cannot be in a state of heart brain incoherence to manifest things that you want. The universe doesn't give you what you want. It gives you according to what you're being. And if whatever's in your heart is not in alignment with which most of us are unaware of, then guess what? You're going to keep attracting and manifesting more of what you don't want. This is a scientific fact, my loves. So, what is the key concept here? Reconstructing brain circuits allow us to shift from patterns of lack and limitation to a mindset of abundance of what we want. Not only that, all of the various and multitude of possibilities that is going to create the optimal environment for us to successfully manifest in. Understanding neuroplasticity and how to rewire our brain doesn't take a lot when we think about it. It just takes you making one step forward after the next step. It's not a race. So, when we talk about neuroplasticity, remember that it is the brain's ability to form and recognize synaptic connections in response to the new information, experiences, and repeated thoughts that we are now we're going to intentionally repeat. Every time you think a thought or encourage a certain behavior, the brain circuitry strengthens the corresponding neural pathways, which means every thought you think gets stronger and stronger and stronger the more you think of them. This is why repeated negative thoughts reinforce our limited beliefs, whether we know it or not. And this is why positive thoughts can rewire the brain for abundance. Not an abundance of what we don't want, abundance coming to us of things that we do want. So we also have to understand and rewiring our brain for alignment with our goals that we want. And one of the first things is for us to gain clarity. A lot of us cannot create a blueprint or the correct formula for a specific thing or a specific experience or opportunity that we want because we are not specifically clear and detailed on what it is that we want. And that's the way that you get to draw that particular thing to you. Awareness of existing patterns is important. Before creating new thought patterns, new circuitries, we must become aware of the old patterns that no longer serve us. Now, I know this may be uncomfortable for many of us. However, the way out is in. We cannot keep ignoring or suppressing things that we're supposed to be aware of simply because it makes us uncomfortable. It is in our uncomfort that we are going to reestablish new thought patterns, new neural circuitries. These patterns could be thoughts like, I'm not good enough. How many of us have said that? Or, I will never succeed. I will never get a promotion. I will never launch my business. I will never become an actress or a singer. I can never become a renowned actress or actor or a renowned speech therapist or a renowned singer, dancer, a renowned speaker, whatever it is. Those are the thoughts that most of us continually feed and wonder why we get exactly that. And every time we don't learn a lesson repeats. What we suppress returns compounded. So the first step is to identify all of the limited circuits, i.e., thoughts, and recognize when we're engaging with them, meaning when we're accepting them, when we're just ignoring them, when we're putting them to the side. And so there's a very effective technique called pattern interruption. Interrupting negative thought patterns look like this. Once aware of the negative thought pattern, we can actively interrupt it. So the moment you realize that you're thinking something negative or that's not in alignment with who you want to be, who you're becoming, what you want, or who you want, or the opportunity that you want, whatever it is, you instantly reverse it. You instantly interrupt it and you replace it with a new one, even if you do not currently believe that is possible. Replace it because remember in the beginning, I told you that our minds aren't set up to differentiate from what's real and fake, from what's authentic or inorganic. This could involve pausing, taking time, taking a breath, pulling back. As soon as you catch yourself thinking some of these stinking thinking thoughts, something that goes against what you actually want, need, or desire, and correcting it on the spot. And the more you do that, the more you begin to starve those old negative thought patterns. Once you begin to do this, you begin to pull back the energy, collect the energy, pull back your energy from them, the energy that you have continually fed them to keep them growing, to keep them strong, to keep them in power. What you feed gains power, and what you starve loses its power. So interrupting negative thought patterns is the same. We are now going to begin starving our old thought patterns. Stop feeding and fueling those negative neural circuitries and start feeding and fueling the positive ones, reinforcing the new neural circuits with positive repetition, 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 repetition. Say it with me. Repetition, 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 repetition. Okay? This is the key to building new circuits, new thoughts that is going to ultimately lead to what? New behavior patterns, new ways of thinking, healthier, better, livelier, joyful, blisser. That ain't even a word, but it is. And by consistently focusing on these new thoughts, guess what? We bring all that we want to manifest into fruition. We succeed with confidence, with empowerment, with inspiration. You get it now? So, what are the key takeaways? What are they? Let's rewind. Neuroplasticity gives us the power to change and rewire our brains. Old patterns can be replaced with new ones, empowering ones through awareness, interruption, and repetition. Consistently replacing our old negative thoughts with positive ones that strengthen new neural circuits that support what we want and in abundance. Visualizing is a powerful tool for building these circuits as well. When we visualize ourselves, we begin to embody what it is, what we want. Our brains and body believe that it's already happening, helping us to get into position, to get into alignment, to bring those things into reality. Now, I would be remiss if I say this. There's a lot of misguided information that is being spread and spewed in these days and times that is not correct, that are missing fundamental principles and laws when it comes to manifesting. Simply speaking, thinking, and visualizing are only a fraction of what's required to get into alignment, to manifest what you want, who you want, the opportunities, all of these different things. And these master lessons is giving you the whole fraction, the whole thing of what you want, not half of it, not fractions of it. It's giving you all of the pieces of the puzzle so you can put it together to bring your dreams, hopes, desire, and wishes into fruition, not just for you, but for your loved ones. Now that concludes lesson 3. Guess what time it is? Quiz time, lesson quick quiz time. Now, again, you already know we want to reinforce what we just learned. So take some time, answer the questions, and if it's not in the forefront of your mind, flip back through them pages and get the answer. You got it. You got this. You absolutely got this, and complete it. Repetition breeds mastery. Okay, so how are we going to reinforce this? And you can find the lesson, the quick quiz and the activities to lesson 3 on pages 25 and after. Step 1, identify one recurring negative thought or belief that you struggle with, i.e., like I always fail, things never go right, I can't seem to win, every time I take 2 steps forward I take 100 back, things like that. And rewrite it, change it. Even if you don't yet believe in it, change it, because your body and your mind don't know the difference. And the more you command, the more you train it, the more it's going to conform to what you now want. Step 2, reframe this thought into a positive, empowering statement that supports your desired reality. I.e., I learn from every life experience. I grow stronger with every life experience. I grow more resilient with every life experience. I am deserving of all the things and experiences and opportunities that I want. Point blank, period. Step 3. Then incorporate the practice along with visualization, along with the affirmations, along with feeling whatever you need to feel, whatever feeling that you think is going to come out of whatever it is that you want. Imagine you already got it. What would you feel like? What would be your expression in your feelings, your attitude? How would you be walking, talking, drinking, dancing, conversating, engaging? I want you to align that with your feelings. Okay, step 4, repeat the new thought out loud as an affirmation to reinforce the new neural circuits. And after you do that, listen, I want you to take 3 to 5 minutes. Let's continue to reinforce the information by putting what you've learned into words. Now. Don't get lazy. Take the time to do the work, because most of us want to manifest and to attract, and we expect the universe to just magically give us what we want without doing the work, without doing what's required. This is you doing the work. Don't skip now, baby. Don't skip now. Everything you do is going to add to, is going to put you further into position, into alignment. Take 5 minutes and interpret in your own words what you learned from this lesson. And as always, I will see you in the next lesson.